Hey guys, how's it going? It's Target here. Welcome to a new episode of Be a GM, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're finally getting things started here. Thanks to everybody who voted on the team that we wanted to use for this version of the Be a GM, sorry. And of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs beat out the Chicago Blackhawks in the finals. So thanks to everybody that voted. All right, so now a couple questions that I posed to you guys, and that was, how long should our Be a GM series be, and should we be rebuilding with the Toronto Maple Leafs, or should we be just picking up a couple extra pieces to complement our top line? I'm not going to lie, a lot of people were in favor of a longer series. 10 years is what they were aiming for, okay? That was the most popular one. So we'll probably do 10 seasons. Having said that, though, we're getting pretty close to NHL 14 at this point. So this is probably going to be our last Be a GM for NHL 13. So we'll get in as many years as we can in this. There's no sense stopping before it's done. So what I did was I set it to 25 years. If we manage to get 9 done, we get 9 done. If we manage to get 10 done, we get 10 done. If we manage to get more than that done, well, then we'll get more than that done. But I wanted to bring you guys the roster and show you exactly what we're up against, okay? So the first things first, I'm going to show you the lines. All right. So this is the Toronto Maple Leafs as I updated with all the trades up to the draft, up to and including the draft. Now the reason why I haven't included, I'm not going to free agency with this is because those free agents don't become free agents until the offseason, you know what I mean? So it's not really fair. Now, if EA were to release I was thinking about it, and I said, should I really do this? Should I really change the lines around or update the rosters? And I thought about it. At first I said no, because these aren't the players that these teams competed with over the length of the season. However, if EA released, the roster update after the trade deadline, and you began to be a GM, which I have done, you begin that Be a GM with the players that team picked up after the trade deadline. Those aren't players that they competed with all year, yet you'd start your Be a GM as if they've been on your team the whole time. So with that in mind, I made the decision that I was going to keep the team or change the rosters because I felt, you know what, I would play with the rosters as EA presented them to me at this point, if that was available. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it like this. I updated the rosters. Obviously, you can see Dave Bolland. The other indicator that I updated the rosters is Jonathan Bernier in there as well. I did not just update the Toronto Maple Leafs. I updated everybody else as well. So Corey Schneider's in New Jersey, So there's a couple trades. Gagliardi's in Calgary. All the Calgary Stars are out. Tanguay and Sarich are gone. So I did update everybody. All the trades that were done past the deadline, I made the updates for. Okay, so now we're determining whether or not we are a playoff team. I think, or not a playoff team, but if we're a rebuilding team, or we are a team that is actually going to be pushing for the playoffs. Now, most people said they want to rebuild, but having seen the trades that I updated, do we still want to rebuild? So I'm asking you again, do you still want to rebuild? So, let's take a look at every player. Joffrey Lupul. He's maxed out. He's a second-line sniper, 84 overall. Pretty good shooting categories, but I wouldn't keep him any higher than the second line. So that's Joffrey Lupul. You know what we're going to do? I'm not going to go edit lines. I'm going to go to contracts so we can see what everybody's worth, because contracts play a big part in this too, right? Because players are overpaid all the time. Okay, so let's start with centers. So, Dave Bolland. Okay, so that's their new acquired player, making $3.375 a year. That's not bad at all. This is going to be the highest he's going to be, is an 84 overall. He's got 75 faceoffs, and I got to tell you, for 3.375, that's good value for a second-line center. I think Dave Bolland is somebody that we keep around, just because of that, okay? He'd be good as a second-line center. So no legitimate first-line center on this team, okay? Nazem Kadri, also a second-line center. He's got 60 faceoffs. His faceoffs aren't great, but his shooting categories are really good for a playmaker already. He's only 21 years old, so he still has 4 to 5 years before he maxes out. Sorry, 5 to 6 years before he maxes out. As soon as they turn 27, that's when they max out. And apparently the biggest growth is done between 25 and 26. So the biggest growth for Nazem Kadri is not going to be for a few years. So Nazem Kadri is definitely someone we can keep around, because he's a pretty good playmaker. He's got good passing ability, good shooting ability. He'd be nice to have, maybe not in the center position, maybe a left wing position on the second line, something like that. Okay. Mikhail Grabovski. All right. So another second line playmaker. He's 28, so he's maxed out. You see he's got the white stars there. Decent decent shooting category. Good for a second line. It'd be nice to have him on the third line, though, because we already have quite a bit of depth at center. And then faceoffs are 75. He's a fantastic faceoff man, all right? So he'd be a good person to put on the second line, okay? He'd be a good second line center. Not because of his overall, but because of his faceoffs. And the only category that's really keeping him down, I think, is his physical category. It's pretty low. Everything else is really good. Okay, Tyler Bozak. All right, so he's a third-line center. They got him built as a third-line center with good faceoffs. He's 3.5 stars. So we're gonna see him no higher than 80 because he's 26 years old. We're not gonna see. We might see him go up to 81, but we'll never see him go to 82. I have seen Tyler Bozak drop off quite a bit. So Tyler Bozak, he could definitely be in the picture. I think that if we're putting together a run for the playoffs, Tyler Bozak would be a player playing the fourth line. Okay, but he's pretty good. And then you guys know I like Jay McClement, fourth line grinder. They got him as a third line grinder, but he'd definitely be fourth line. 85 faceoffs. He's good on that fourth line. Okay. We're starting to get in some depth players now. Tim Connolly, they've got him built as a third line center. I think that Tim Connolly would be on his way out. He's got good faceoffs, and I get that, but we've got a lot of depth at center now. We would actually be making trades for players who can provide more offensively on the top end, right? So a first line center or something like that. If we were not rebuilding, if we were making a push for the playoffs this year, Tim Connolly would be out. Joe Colborne. All right, so we got another center here. His faceoffs aren't great, so we'd be playing the wing. But he's a 76 overall power forward, 4 stars, 22 years old. He's 6'5", 213 pounds. He's only going to get better in the physical category. He's already 4 stars there. His puck skills are the one that lack. Puck skills and senses, they're a little bit low, only at 3 stars so far. But Joe Colborne could be a big addition to this team in the future. I mean, you could see him get to an 83 overall power forward, maybe even 84. Right? So Joe Colborne could be a really good addition to this team, and he's definitely in the future. That's it for centers. So let's go to the left wings. Joffrey Lupa we already covered, but his cap is 5.250. That's one thing I forgot to go over. See Tim Connolly's cap, 4.75. Mikhail Grabovski, if he's going to be playing the second line, 5.5. That's way too much. I would almost see Mikhail Grabovski going out just because of the depth we have at center. If we wanted to go for a first-line center, Mikhail Grabovski would probably draw the short straw on that at 5.5. He's got a ton of years left. Look at that. Until 17, 18. I think Grabovski's out based on that. Okay, guys? Joffrey Lupul, we already covered. James Van Riemsdyk, though. Hold on. Let's do it by overall. Why is it doing that? Okay, sorry. Clark MacArthur, 83 overall, 27 years old. He's a two-way forward, second-line player. Really good all-around abilities. You'll see that he's got minimum 4 stars in every single category. He's got a 4.5 star in skating. Clark MacArthur is a nice addition to this team. What's his cap hit? 3.25. It's a little bit high. He's only got a year left on his contract, so he might be somebody we resign at a cheaper price come the offseason. Mind you, if we're rebuilding, Clark MacArthur is a player that I'd be shipping out. Even though he's a really good two-way forward, I'd want all the young players to get some play. All right, Nikolai Kulemin, 26-year-old, 4-star sniper. He's got minimum 4 stars in every category, skating 4.5. Really good stats here, okay? They've got him as a second-line player, but he'd probably end up playing the third line, just based on, again, our depth. He's only a 2.8 cap hit, which is really nice. Kulemin is a nice option in terms of value for his price. James Van Riemsdyk, here you go, a 4.5-star player. James Van Riemsdyk is absolutely in the future system. There's no doubt about it. He's got basically 3 to 4 years before he caps out. James Van Riemsdyk could easily get up to an 88, 89, maybe even a 90 if we're lucky. It depends on the type of season he has. Now, the important thing with a power forward is to surround him with the right type of players, and those are a playmaker and a sniper. And I definitely think that James Van Riemsdyk could flourish if we could find him a playmaking center, and we already have a sniper on that right wing in Phil Kessel. So I think he'd be a nice option for the top line, even though he says second line forward. All right, so let's go to right wings. We only have one right winger in the entire system, and that's Phil Kessel, which is on our current roster, I should say. And that's Phil Kessel, okay? He's a 4.5-star right winger. 4.5 gold star, sorry. First line sniper. Great shooting categories at 90, 89. That's probably only going to get better from this point. The only category that's really, really lacking is his physical side. 79, 79, 87, 70, 81. He's only got 3 stars in the physical side, so that could definitely be increased. But I think Phil Kessel will top out at about 89, 90 maybe. So he'd be a good first-line sniper. There's no doubt about it. We don't have to go anywhere for a first-line sniper. Phil Kessel is our man. He stands to put up 40 goals a year, and if he's paired alongside James Van Riemsdyk, who tends to score as well, he also could have a 40-goal season. So that top line could be dynamite in the future, absolutely. We just need to find a good center for them. Defense. Okay, now this is where it kind of gets interesting. If we're rebuilding, I'll tell you right now, one player that's on his way out is Dion Phaneuf. Not because Dion Phaneuf is a bad player. He's really good in this game. He's 89 overall. He's 27 years old, so he's maxed out. He's considered a veteran at this point. He's got great body checking. He's got a good slap shot. The only problem with Dion Phaneuf is, I believe his cap hit's really high. 6.5 isn't bad, I guess. I thought it was higher than that. The only problem is, we already have some depth defensemen. Let me show you this. Okay, so they got Jake Gardiner. If I switch over to, in the system, Morgan Riley. We have 2 4.5-star defensemen. I don't need any more than that in terms of reality. So if we were rebuilding, Dion Phaneuf would go, and we would trade Dion Phaneuf probably for a centerman, a first-line center, or a center on the way up. That's if we're rebuilding, right? I would trade probably for, you know, just an example, a player in the range of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Because Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is, you know, an up-and-coming forward. He's not a top-line center yet, but he's got that 4.5-star potential. So he's just a really, really good option for the team. Okay? So Dion Phaneuf, as it stands right now, if we're making a push, we keep him. He's our only top-pairing defenseman. John Michael Lyles, he's probably a top 4. So he's an offensive defenseman. He's capped out. Decent quality attributes, I suppose. He's not the best hitter, though. But again, he's an offensive defenseman. So everything else, like senses, are maxed out. Skating is really high. So is his shooting category. John Michael Lyles is a very decent option for us there on that second pairing. Carl Gunnarsson, you guys know we used Carl Gunnarsson before. He's a 4-star defensive defenseman. So you have an offensive defenseman and a defensive defenseman playing together. And Dion Phaneuf is a 2-way. Jake Gardiner, I believe, is a defensive, right? Oh, he's a 2-way as well. I would almost play Jake Gardiner on that top pairing with Dion Phaneuf just because they're both 2-way defensemen. They play really well the same way. Jake Gardiner, his senses are already really high. So is his skating. He's going to be absolutely an elite force for us in the future. Cody Franzen. Okay, Cody Franzen is a really good option offensively. You see that his categories are really good already for a defenseman that's considered the top 6. So Cody Franzen would definitely be in our future plans. Now, Mike Komisarek, $4.5 million is his cap hit. For a 6-line defenseman, or a third-pairing defenseman, top 6, Mike Komisarek isn't sticking around. I'll tell you that right now. So Komisarek would be out in terms of these pairings. In terms of other value, everybody else is really, really affordable. Gunnarsson, less than $2 million. Gardner, less than $2 million. Franzen, less than $2 million. Lyles is almost $4 million, not quite. And then Phaneuf, who's $6.5 million. He's locked in for a few years, yeah. But we would probably trade him if the price was right. All right, so now we go to our goaltending situation. We have 2 goalies at a really good price, 1.8 and 1.25. Who do we go with, guys? Do we go with James Reimer? Or do we go with... oh, it switched around. I mean, I hate that. Or do we go with Jonathan Bernier? And the reason why I ask is because there's not much of a point of keeping 2 4-star goalies around, 2 starters. I never like to do that because one's growth is always studded by him not playing. So I'll show you there's the attributes for Bernier. Now let me show you Reimer's attributes. Okay. You guys, I prefer a butterfly goalie, and I believe they're both hybrid if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're both hybrid. I prefer a butterfly goalie. I find they sim a little bit better in EA, NHL 13. So it's up to you guys. Bernier's got a really good cap hit at 1.25, and Reimer's got 1.800, but his contract lasts a year longer. So it's more value longer, right? So it's up to you guys. Do we keep Reimer or do we keep Bernier? Because I will be trading probably one of them away. Now, if we're rebuilding, both of them might go, and we might elect to play. You know what? If we're rebuilding, I'm still gonna keep one because they're 82 overall. They're not fantastic yet, but they're both pretty good. Let's see. That's it for that. Let's go to do our in the system roster. We're not gonna go through everybody here. Let's take a look at the depth we have at center. I'm gonna go by stars. Forwards. Okay, so we have no 4-star centers coming up the pipe. We do have a couple 4-star centers in the team on the team already, so I don't feel like we need to make any changes there. We have a lot of 3-star players here, which are nice. Like Tyler Biggs could be really good in the future. Power forward, 3.5 stars. Carter Ashton's really good. He's a power forward again. Let me check centers. So we do have a few options. Now remember, I've got a plan in place that I'm going to be using to get as much value for these players as possible. But it's going to happen whether we rebuild or not. So just so you guys know, that's what's going to be happening. Let's see, centers. Yeah, that's fine. Nobody value there at center. Nobody really valued there at left wing. Again, no 4 stars. We go to defenseman, though. We have Morgan Riley, Stuart Percy, and Matt Finn. Those are 3 players that are definitely going to be in our future here. Morgan Riley, without a doubt. An offensive defenseman, absolutely elite status he gets to. I know he gets to a 90 overall with fantastic shooting categories. We've looked at it before. So those 3 are definitely in the future. Percy and Finn. What's Percy? He's a 2-way defenseman, and Finn, also a 2-way defenseman. So those 2 could definitely progress as a solid second line pairing, in that they complement each other, both being 2-way defensemen. Okay. All right. So goaltending situation, we don't really need depth. We've got Marco Wuya and UC Rhinus. I think I'm saying that right. Rhinus, something like that. We got Garrett Sparks and Drew McIntyre. So I think McIntyre Sparks would be out just based on their potential. They're very low. I don't like to keep goalies less than 3.5 stars in the system because their value is so low, especially after this first year. After the first year, all players lose their value immensely. So you got to trade them away quick. All right, so that's basically it, guys. That's the Toronto Maple Leafs as they stand now. I'm going to show you right now. Let's see. If we were to rebuild, these are the moves that I would make. Let's see here. Actually, you know what? I'll do it from the contract screen. If we were to rebuild, these are the moves that I would make. Okay, let's go to centers. Dave Bolland would be in. Nazem Kadri would be in. Mikhail Grabovski would be out. Look at his cap hit; it's huge. Okay, Tyler Bozak would be in. Jay McClement would be still in, and Tim Connolly would be out, further than out. We'll keep Joe Colborne. That's about it for the centers. Left wings, Lupul's up in the air. He might get crowded out by the number of top players that we have if we're rebuilding. Lupul might be gone if we rebuild, guys. I honestly think he would be. Lupul and MacArthur would both be gone. MacArthur's a good option, but we might run out of room again. Kuhlman, still with potential. He'd be a good option at 2.8. He's really valuable. Pardon me. And James Van Riemsdyk, obviously, in. So these 2 guys are the only ones that would really be safe. MacArthur and Lupul are questionable, okay? Phil Kessel's in. There's no doubt about it. He's our sniper going forward. There's no need to make any changes. Phil Kessel. Now, defense. Dion Phaneuf might be out. It might be the way of the world. We'll see what we can shop him for, what kind of value we can get back, okay? And Komisarek is out. All right? Absolutely, no question about it. These guys can all stick around. John Michael Lyles is a good option for the second pairing. He might drop down and end up playing the third pairing, but for now, he's a good option for that second pairing. 3.8, though, he's a little high in price. I think we might be able to trade him away and get a better value for our player. So we'll explore that, obviously, as we get along here. And then, goaltending, you'll have to let me know what we do if we rebuild. If we're keeping all these players, we're keeping all these players. And what we'd be doing is we'd be trading away, where are we? A lot of the players that were excess, if you don't remember what those were. Grabovski, Tim Connolly, maybe Joffrey Lupul, and Komisarek probably for a top line forward, like a first line forward. That's absolutely a necessary need at this point. Let's take a look at the lines. If we were to run like right now, this is how I do the lines. Okay, so we'll set it up already. So the lines are ready to go. Okay, so Dave Bolland on that top line. Yeah, we'll keep it like that if we were to run like this. If we do pick up a second line player, this is how it would look. Nazem Kadri, like this, like this. Probably do that. And Lupul would be out. Lupul would be out. And, where the heck is he? Did I lose him already? Who am I thinking of? Do we have one too many player in here? Who the heck am I thinking of? Oh, Clark MacArthur somehow ended up on the top line. Where's Boland? What the hell? Oh, there we go. Boland. There you go. So, if we were ended up getting a first-line center... Oh, that's what we were doing. I lost my train of thought. If we ended up getting a first-line center, this is how the lineup would probably look. A playmaker, a two-way forward, a sniper. Sniper, a power forward, and then a playmaking center in the middle. Playmaker, left wing would have to be something different. Tyler Bozak would probably get this. Whoop. Grabowski's out, right? So, it doesn't matter that much. So, it'd be Tyler Bozak centering that third line with a couple of, you know, grinders or something like that on the third line here. A two-way forward, something like that. Defense would look like this if we got... Yeah, it would probably look like there. Yeah. That's exactly how I'd pair the defenses again if we were making a push for the playoffs and we kept the team that we have now. If we were rebuilding, it'd probably look something like this. And FNUF would be gone. There'd be somebody else in there. We might even bring up... I think Morgan Riley's a little bit away from being able to play in the NHL yet, but we'll have to consider it. And then obviously goaltending, whatever you guys decide, okay? So, if we do rebuild, and one of the things we do need... Okay, fine. One of the things that we do need, we're run a little bit long here. Well, we're not really, but... Is, GM options. Is a top line playmaking center. Oops, not trade players. I don't want to do that. I want to go to the trade block, and we'll see what's available. So we're going to add the trade block. We're going to be looking for any forward. We want him 17 to 27. 26. 4.5 stars. Medium. There you go. Let's take a look and see who's got the highest overall in this range that fits the bill for us. And we're looking for probably around the 84, 85 mark, okay? See, these guys are a little bit... Like, Logan Couture would be a pretty good option. He's 23 years old. Playmaking center, 71 face-offs. Logan Couture might be a good option for us. I think we could honestly trade Dion Phaneuf for him. Who else? Jamie Benn, he's a sniper, so we really wouldn't want Jamie Benn. Plus, I don't think his face-offs... 70 face-offs aren't bad. Nick Backstrom, 24 years old, 80... Nah, I wouldn't pick up him. I know he's got a 75 face-off, but I know what Nick Backstrom's capable of. He caps out really early. I wouldn't want to make a trade for him. Then you got Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's got really high value. 68 face-offs is not bad, but his passing is fantastic. Look at that. Unbelievable passing. I got him built as a second-line center now, and his value is much higher than everybody here. We might be able to get a better trade value. Tyler Seguin, though, might be a good option. The guy who's been talks of trade talk lately. Tyler Seguin, 20 years old, so he's probably the same. He's 1 year older than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, sorry. 1 year older. He's got way better face-offs, so Tyler Seguin might be a good option for us. I think we could honestly pick him up. Galchenyuk. Ooh, Galchenyuk. Interesting. He's only got 60 face-offs, though. That's a problem. But again, I think we could probably trade for him. Jonathan Huberdeau, terrible face-offs, 4.5 stars. I think we got better options out there, even in Seguin and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Charlie Coyle, he's not ready for the system yet, and his face-offs are terrible. Mikhail Granlund, I know he gets good, but his face-offs are really low again. Grigorenko, 60 face-offs. Scheifele, 60 face-offs. Radek Faksa, 75 face-offs, 4.5 star player, but he's so low, we can't even use him. So I think that our best options, guys, I think our best options are... I don't want Jonathan Toews again, we just got him. Our best options are probably, to be completely honest with you, what's 25 years old, playmaker, no. Our best options are probably Logan, oh, Jesus, what the hell did I do? What did I do now? Shit. I'm fucking with shit now. Hold on. Holy, it's hot in this house, I tell you right now. It's so hot here in our city. It's been like 3 days straight of 30, or 3 or 4 days straight of 30, and we don't have AC everywhere, right? Logan Couture. There we are. So Logan Couture would probably be an option for us, okay? Another option is Tyler Seguin and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, okay? They both have really good trade value, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Tyler Seguin. One's got a little bit better face-offs in him. And that's probably as far as I go. So, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Tyler Seguin, and Logan Couture. If we were to throw Seguin on there, let's see. Because he has the talk of trade talks right now. It's $5.435 million for his cap. It's really high. But if you're looking for a first-line center, that's not bad. we'd be throwing Dion Phaneuf on there. They'd take Dion Phaneuf. The trade value is really close. That might even go through, guys. That trade might go through, considering they want him. Now, if we're going to pop over to Edmonton and take a look, they don't want Dion Phaneuf. That's part of the problem. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, his cap is not much lower. The value is pretty close. They might not want him. Tyler Seguin may be the better option, okay? So keep that in mind. And San Jose, Logan Couture. So his value is a little bit lower, all right? So I doubt that he'll get as high rated as either Tyler Seguin or Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but he's already classified as a first-line forward just by his overalls. He's got decent face-offs, you know. He's a good option, too, for us. And his cap hit is really low, 2.875. So that's an option. That's what we can do with Dion Phaneuf, guys, this type of a trade. We'd probably ask for a little bit something back. Let's see what else we can get back here. They want to get rid of Thomas Hertl. That's probably a little bit too much value. We'd probably be reaching a little bit. Vlasic. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, a 4-star defenseman. Defensive defenseman, top 4. That would be an increase for us. That's not really a rebuilding player. Hertl is a rebuilding player, that's for sure. Two-way forward center with 75 faceoffs. Hertl we would throw on there. All right, but it wouldn't go through because of that. So it's going to probably have to be a 1-for-1, and what we do is do this. Pick up a first from them. Right? Get a little bit extra value for the player. Maybe even a second. Because this year we got a stockpile of picks. So that's it, guys. I've shown you the team. I've shown you what we look like and, we'll, you know, some potential options for trades. Let me know what you guys think as quick as possible because I really want to get recording this. So put in your input down below in the comments section. Let me know what you think, and we'll get ready for the first season of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Target Audience. We'll talk to you very soon. You guys have a good one.